Hi, welcome to Sage Designers. My name is Susan Palmer, and today we're interviewing the most amazing surface designer, Ilynn Adler. Hi, Ilynn.
Hi, so happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. Tell me where you are.
Right now, I am living for the past almost 50 years in Tucson, Arizona. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Came out here in 1972. Well, I got married, and my now ex was from Tucson and always wanted to go back. And we decided once we were married, let's go. We can get teaching positions wherever we are. And we did. We literally drove out the day after we got married.
Awesome. Okay, so tell me about your art background. How did you get started?
Well, I was always into art and colors and designs. And my mom used to go to get, back in the day, used to get her hair done every week. So every Saturday she would come home with a new coloring book and crayons, which just satisfied me to no end. And as I became a teenager, I was always into different things. One of the coolest things I remember doing was we used to have Ben Franklin's, and they would have not just plants and stuff, but they'd have all kinds of crafts.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a marble lamp and hung it in my bedroom. And so my room was like blue and greens, and it was the coolest thing ever. And so I was always doing artwork.
And you said you were a teacher. Did you teach art?
I did. I was not trained as an art teacher. I was actually an elementary school teacher, but like I said, I've always been into crafts and arts and doing something artistic and creative. I've come to realize that creativity is an element in my life I have to have. And in some way, there has to be something creative during the day, even if it's just thought process, but I have to have creativity. It's part of my element. Got a job teaching elementary school originally. And when I moved out to Tucson, I got a job teaching junior high art and connected with the art teacher from the high school. And we created a program together for our feeder school to supplement their high school program. And it was so much fun.
That sounds like a great collaboration.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How did you find surface design?
And La Follette. How could we do anything but? I was in the early days of the pandemic, just kind of surfing and how advertisements pop up on your computer every now and then. And here was this lovely woman talking about surface pattern design, which I had no idea what that was, but anything with design and patterns sounded interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So she was doing from doodles to dollars, free course. And I thought, I'm just going to check what that is. And so I did. And after 5 days, I realized I really don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I decided I needed to do the academy program so I could figure out what the heck I was doing. And it took me a while. Adobe Illustrator was a challenge for me. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks. But once I got it, I was so hooked. I mean, I would spend till 2 a.m. sometimes doing patterns because I was so excited. I remember telling my daughter and my sister, I found my niche. I found what I'm supposed to be doing. And they thought, well, good for you, but I thought you were doing that already because I'm a quilter. So I said, yeah, but now I get to make patterns that could go on fabrics. So that was my dream.
Nice. Nice. How long have you been quilting?
Oh, gosh. I'd say about 50 to 55 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At first, I started only hand quilting, actually really seriously quilting about 42 years because my daughter was an infant and I decided I wanted to do a blanket for her. I took a course through an LDS church. And these women were like really serious about getting this done. And so we had 10-week program during the summer. And I remember going every week on a Saturday morning, leaving the baby, with her dad going to get my next assignment for the week. I was the only one that in 10 weeks finished all the squares, all by hand, all cutting, templates, the whole bit.
Good for you.
And the instructor said to me, you get this all put together and I'll come out to your school and have lunch with you, and we'll sandwich it and get it all ready for quilting. And that's what I did. And so every kid that walked into my office, because I was a counselor then, every kid that walked into my office would sit down and have me quilting on my lap while I was talking with them. And they were so relaxed by watching this art form take place, that I got a lot done with the kids. We're just kind of talking here and let's see what we can get done.
That's very cool. What is your favorite type of quilting? Piecing, or do you do applique, or?
All of the above. I design my own quilts most of the time. Every now and then I'll do a mystery quilt, so I have no idea what's coming out of it, just that we know what colors or temperament we're supposed to have. I usually design my own. I've got one sitting here right now waiting to be quilted, all sandwiched. And I do quilting for others. So this one happens to be a twin size bed quilt, Noah's Ark.
Nice. And so when you say you're doing the quilting, are you doing it on your machine or are you doing it by hand?
I'm doing it on machine.
Right.
I went that crazy. I did that just for one blanket. And then I said, I've got to learn how to do this faster. It took me, seriously, it took me 9-10 months to get the quilting done on one quilt. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I was very fortunate when I was in junior high to have an art teacher who recognized that I loved art. Whether I was good or not, I didn't know. But I remember my parents were called in one day to school and I thought, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just talking with my friend. By the way, I met my best friend in art and I thought she's still my closest friend. The teacher sat my parents down and said, your daughter is very talented and I would love to see her get into an art camp during the summer. I didn't even know he knew who I was other than I was talking and he was always telling me to be quiet. That was like the start of where I really joyously got into art. So I really think he had a guiding light for me because that gave me the go. My parents, however, at that time had other ideas. They thought, no, you've got to go to college. You've got to become something that you can actually depend on. You can't depend on art, and support yourself. And I never gave up on art.
Have you done anything with the fabric that you printed?
Well, I've done a lot of selling of it. I have just on this, I can show you this. It's the border on this quilt that I'm doing right now. And I haven't had time because I'm being commissioned to do so many different quilts.
Nice.
See the purple on the edge?
Yep.
That's one. The other fabrics I've got all lined up here. So people come in and say, oh, I want this and I want this. So we're going through it. And if anybody watching this wants them, they know how to get in touch with me now.
How have you been selling your fabrics?
I've gone to Quilt Bees. There are several bees in the Tucson area, and I've gone to just a couple of them, actually. People have seemed interested. I thought about going to the guild meeting one month, but things have been so busy, and I've been commissioned to make like 12 quilts between now and December, and it's like I'm on number 5. So I've got to get myself going here.
Good for you. Wow, that's amazing.
Part of me wants everybody to be able to enjoy a homemade quilt. In fact, 4 of the order are for a friend who's giving it to her great grandbabies.
Oh my gosh.
This Noah's Ark is going to her 3-year-old.
So you're a quilter and you're a surface designer. Are there any other?
There are. I've got several things. First of all, I just wanted to show you, and I was going to do it with my own fabrics, but I got this order in, so I thought I will just do this. This is called a podlet. It's the coolest thing. It's a bowl. And what I've been giving it away to people for is a portable makeup bag. And if you travel, people love it. So if I were to make a bunch of them and go to a craft fair, I'm sure I would sell them, just finding the time to do it. Then during this whole surface pattern thing, I discovered Zen doodles. I started just fooling around with it.
Oh,
And I've
fun.
made pictures of friends' animals.
Nice. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I've been doing that. And also, well, it's kind of hard not to when your grandkids come over and they want to do something. So I had them just start doodling, just make a design, whatever.
Mhm.
So this is what my, at that time, 5-year-old did.
Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Isn't that cool? She did the design and then we transferred it onto the canvas. And this is what my 8-year-old did.
Oh my gosh, they're so talented.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
So
Yeah.
we're just having fun. And then my grandson took to computer design
Oh,
and he
wow.
made this for Mother's Day for me.
So sweet.
Isn't that cool?
That's so
And the
cool.
fact that he got my dog paws in there because he loves my dogs. And then this one I'm actually going to do for the 8-year-old when she turns 9 in July. I'm going to do it as a wall hanging. She did this design and I transferred it onto the fabric paper.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going to put that into a little wall hanging that she can appreciate her own artwork. And then if you will walk with me, I'll show you, I have drawn and painted. So this lady, I don't know if you can see her if there's too much glare. See if I go further away. So this lady is my prayer lady.
Oh,
Walk with me. This lady was the very first drawing I did.
wow, she's beautiful.
She's a Mongolian wanderer. And this is my rabbi cutting the bread for us.
Nice, beautiful.
And then I'll just show you this one. This was a watercolor I did many, many years ago.
Oh, beautiful.
Kind of dabbled in a lot of different things,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I said once I retired, I was gonna, I was like the jack of all trades
Mm-hmm.
and master of none. And so that's when I decided that I would really get into quilting, and because that's where my love was. And now making fabrics.
Isn't that cool?
You came into my life, Susan, seriously as a godsend. Sage Designers. I asked for some help and it fell right into my computer. There you were advertising it. You're phenomenal. And the whole concept behind what we're doing is just superior to anything I could have imagined.
Well, it's because of you and the other wonderful ladies that have joined together that we're able to do this. So I thank you for participating and taking that leap of faith.
Seriously, it's been my answer to what I want to be doing. And you're right. The other ladies are, to be part of this group of talent and talented women has just been the greatest pleasure ever.
So we just don't know what doors are going to open for us. When you're designing, how do you get inspired?
Anything is inspiring. I can look outside like today, there's this beautiful sunshiny day, a little bit of breeze, but my tree branches are there. I could do something with that right now. And I love people. I just feel like I know the cliche, and it is really a cliche, but love is the answer. Whatever I look around at, I just am happy with. There's a gal in one of my other groups who does art every single day in her little art journal. And she started asking me to come over and do a session or two with her. And we just have a day of art.
How
And
wonderful.
it's really great. So inspiration comes from everything.
What's your big dream?
Oh, my big dream is actually to be asked by a fabric company to make designs for fabric. Would be really what I would love to do. To watch other people, like when I sold some of the fabric here and they're showing me what they're doing with it. It's like so exciting to see that I've become a part of their artwork.
Do you have a favorite part of the process?
When I'm doing this Noah's Ark and I was putting all the pieces together and getting the animals all on there, that was just so exciting. And like I say, I can't do a traditional quilt for the life of me. Getting, actual points and straight lines. And so art quilt is definitely for me. I went to Paducah, Kentucky at the National Art Show, and I went in to see the artist in residence at that time. This is many years ago. There was this, it's called Bloomin', and it was a whole quilt of the bust of Mideastern folks, and all done in blues, thread painting. Hollis Chatelaine was the designer. And it was like these people were staring at me as I walked into the room, and the whole wall was filled with her unbelievably magnificent thread painted quilts. And I started crying.
Mhm.
I see this woman walking towards me, and she's got a pin on, and I'm thinking, oh, it's one of the docents, and she's going to kick me out because I'm crying. I looked at her name tag, and it was Hollis Chatelaine herself. And I said, oh, you must absolutely get thrilled when you see people like me reacting. She goes, well, actually, I'd like to be in my own studio quilting. And I thought, this is a true quilter. About a year later, I was invited into one of her classes at Asilomar, California. The best experience in my entire life. Asilomar is just a fabulous camp for women wanting to quilt and learning different skills. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely incredible. And then a year later, I get invited to her class, and so I thought, who gets invited to their hero? I mean, to the person that they think is the best in the world. And it was actually a gift. I was in her class. We did painting with dyes for the fabric. And I did one in yellow of Sudanese women. When I went to her class that first year, she said, do you still have that? And I said, yeah. I said, I haven't done anything with it. I don't know what to do. She says, bring it next year. And so I did. And the deal was she'd tell me what to do, but I had to give her a picture of it so she could use it in her international presentation in Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever it is,
Nice.
Dallas.
Wow, that's amazing. Is there anything that you'd like to tell about that we haven't covered?
Just that I would encourage anyone who has any desire for participating in art, whether you think you have it or not. You can see my little 5-year-old could doodle a design and then make this incredible picture. It's possible. That I used to think that when I was teaching art that everybody could do this if they would just put aside their idea of what's everything's supposed to look like.
Mhm.
And I found out that some people really do have a gift, and some have to like really put aside any concepts they may have and just try.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
My pleasure.
Sage Designers wouldn't be the same without you. And I'm looking
Ah,
forward to seeing your beautiful art. Appreciate you taking this time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this, because like I said, you're making me live my dream.